The fact is, Fetterman is a bad, flawed candidate. When you look at this guy, he's never had a job. He comes from rich parents. He didn't have any job until he ran for mayor. He worked some fake consultancy job for his parents' business where he never actually did anything. He's got criminal charges against him for, I believe, and don't quote me on this, I could be mistaken, I believe it's vandalism of some business. He's obviously got that situation. And then there's the concerns with his health. When you hear the guy talk, it's someone that's clearly not there mentally. There's something wrong with it. He had a stroke, right? That's what happens when you have a stroke. And I'm happy he's okay. I'm happy he didn't die. Just like I'm happy Biden didn't die from his brain aneurysm, right? But that doesn't mean that's someone that should be elected to office, okay? People aren't making fun of him for having had a stroke and talking the way he does. That's not why people are coming after him. People are being critical of him because they don't think he's mentally fit to hold office. No one's saying don't debate his ideas, but when the guy can barely put a sentence together and it's clear that he's struggling to even talk about the weather when you see him talk, there's legitimate questions. This is a guy that could vote to send your kids off to war. This is a guy that could vote to raise your taxes. This is a guy that could vote to change all kinds of things. This is someone, I mean, I'm sorry, it's more than just dunking on a guy who's clearly got some mental deficiencies. If he wasn't running for public office, then it'd be a different story. Yeah, then it'd be a dick thing to just make fun of the guy who had a stroke. No one would say that was cool. But, I mean, we're talking about someone that, again, the same rule applies with him that applied to David Hogg and Greta Thunberg and that Izzy girl that we made fun of last week, the climate girl. The same rule applies to him. When you put yourself out into the public eye, you open yourself up to criticism. And some of those criticisms are going to be whether or not you're mentally fit to hold office. People love to, you had psychologists ruining their careers by diagnosing Trump with not schizophrenia, sociopathy or narcissism without ever sitting down with him. That's like rule one of being a psychologist or a psychiatrist is you can't diagnose someone you've never sat down with, but it earned them internet points. It was virtue signaling. It got them, brownie points with their online friends, and that was the cool thing to do at the time. Well, it ruined their career. Okay? This is a completely different story. This is a guy who's clearly got something wrong with him. This is a guy who's clearly got a checkered past. So, I mean, you can have, yes, Dr. Oz lives in New Jersey. He has a house in New Jersey and a house in Pennsylvania. So you can have Dr. Oz, who lives 20 miles away from the border, or you can have the guy who pulls shotguns on black people.